why people leave California.
This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city.
So I said this a couple of days ago. Those same politicians, they don't make the builders on these crazy permits bury the power lines because it costs too much money. Nobody wants that. You see, if you didn't allow the homes to be built where it's gonna burn down, and if you buried those lines, then you have no fires. At least no fires to burn down houses, so no claims. And this is 100% policy, not climate driven. That's just period. I'm not saying there's nothing to climate change. I'm just saying policy. It's kind of like we're soothsayers over here. It's like we have a crystal ball and we can see what's happening in the future. But it's not. All you have to do is look at these policies, what's going on around us. And by the way, it's the same thing that's destroying the Florida real estate market right now. That's just water, not fire. And what makes it worse is here's what we just heard from the absolutely catastrophic fires.
This is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance through the state of California. Because of this, they're 90 years old. They've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance. And these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance.
Our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this, there's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do.
And we, on that very same show, well, we talked about how insurance companies are getting out of insurance because of these and other state of California defined insurance regulations that are all screwed up. And we just heard this.
But even a well-defended California home in the wrong place may not be able to afford fire insurance or find it at all. In 2019 alone, insurance companies dropped the policies of about 230,000 homeowners in the state. That's a 31% increase from the year before.
God, this hurts to talk about, but we told you and we'll continue telling you that all this is going to be blamed on climate change. Yet in real time right now, you're seeing what the truth is. And this will all get washed away by the media and all replaced by climate change. And I'm not a climate change denier. That's not where I'm going with this, so just follow me. When you have more people and you build more homes in areas that are going to burn down because you're cutting costs on builds, you've just created a recipe for, well, this. It's horrible, isn't it? Now, let's chance another prediction, shall we? In the coming weeks, as I said a moment ago, all this is going to be put on the shoulders of climate change. And what that effectively does, it gives immunity for all of these politicians and city officials that absolutely created this mess that we could predict. And that immunity, that passing of the buck, here's the problem, guys. It allows them to not make the required changes. So you can expect more of the same. It's kind of like how we solved the homeless problem. More of the same. That doesn't work.
This is vitally important for every realtor and lender in the country to understand because we learned from HUD that they are looking to adopt the same passing the buck policies that California has so ineptly run. You see, we have 14 fire-prone western states whom are all engaged in similar policies of build where you shouldn't and don't bury the lines in these tinderbox areas. And in doing so, they will continue to run our insurers out of all of these states, all the while affecting the premiums of every state.
And sure, guys, this is a problem. This is a big problem. And the only reason we're bringing this up today, it's not to say we're right, it's just to let you see how absolutely easy it is to predict these things, yet our politicians are going in the wrong direction. And by the way, these are the same type of policies that are absolutely destroying the Florida market. Now, if you want to learn more about that and this, we just linked the shows down below that we spoke about last week. This is effectively taking place all across the country, and it's all being blamed on climate change. And again, not a denier here, but darn it, it's the policies that are at the core of this. You see, this is real time. That's why we're bringing this up. It's happening right now. And this has been our rallying cry for months and months, because if we stay the course of this trajectory, insurance is going to be the primary source for you not being able to close your transactions in 2025 and beyond. We have kicked this can down the road for way too long. And by the way, this isn't projecting here because it's something that we're already seeing in pockets of California. So you have to get up to speed on what's taking place all across the country and how it's affecting our insurance companies. And on a final note here, you've probably heard how all of these celebrities are having multi-million-dollar houses burned down in Southern California, and my heart goes out to anybody who loses anything here. But you see, in California, particularly Southern California, all the high-cost houses are up in the hills where it's always going to burn down. In California, in its infinite wisdom, a few years ago when these multi-million-dollar properties were burning down, well, the state allowed our statewide energy provider, PG&E, to raise the premiums to cover the costs of the lawsuits for everybody in the state of California. So when I hear the James Woods of the world or the Russell Crowes of the world have their properties burned down, the only thing I'm really thinking about is that single mother who's working 2 or 3 jobs in a one-room apartment to try to raise her kids. Her premiums went up to cover a $5 million property. Now, because we've also run most of our insurers out of the state of California, and this is going to get rid of the rest of them, as we said a couple of days ago with the new policies, we're going to be stuck with, well, the state of California's forced mandate insurance on our houses. But here's the interesting part. They only go up to $3 million. Do you know what the median price on these houses in Southern California that are burning down right now, who cannot get insurance? They're north of $5 million. Who do you think is going to pick that up? You got it. It's going to be the state, courtesy of PG&E, and raising the rates on everybody in the state, because these cities, these municipalities, and the state can't figure out that building houses in areas where it burns down every year and you're not burying these darn lines is a horrible idea. This has been happening for years. And by the way, it's going to affect your premiums, and this is coming to a state near you. Thank you. You know, in the mortgage space, we get so caught up in cuts and what our companies are giving us. Has it ever occurred to you that just closing more deals is the solution to all your problems? Well, at CapDirect, we crowdsource. We work on things that work, and we stop what doesn't. And we do this together because everyone benefits in a way no one does. We're ahead of the curve. You want to be part of the team? Fill out the information down below and let's have a personal conversation about it.